Hey, welcome back to A Faster Me. Shout out to Jack Rue for partnering with us with our cycling kits. This is going to be the Roger Millikan Grand Prix out in Brea, California. This is the 50 plus 123. And from what I understand, this is the last time it's going to be held on this circuit. So this is my first time watching the video, so I'm just going to freelance and wing it. But this is my first time doing it counterclockwise here. I've done it clockwise before. About the last 3 years, it's been clockwise. A long time ago, they used to run it counterclockwise and sometimes switch it back and forth. And yeah, for this last one, we're going counterclockwise today. So this turn 2 here basically is downhill. Turn 1 and turn 2 are pretty much downhill left-handers. Got kind of the false flat here leading up to some uphill S's. I think they maybe touch 4%, something like that. It's not too bad. We hit it at pretty high speed, as you can see. So your momentum pretty much just carries you up the hill. We had a good field, good turnout. It wasn't packed this time. We had about 52 riders, somewhere in there, under 60. But still a good turnout, especially for Super Bowl Sunday. Kind of the usual players in the race. I will say this though, this year, we have this our third race, and it started out pretty hot each week. It's been starting out pretty hot, kind of chill right now for this first lap. But after that, people are going to put the hammer down, and I think 2 weeks in a row, or actually 3 weeks in a row now, the 50 plus has had the kind of the fastest field other than the P123, the open P123. So the 2.3s are catching up to us. They were pretty close, but we're just about 27 miles per hour, and I think they were low 26s. And then, of course, the pro race was 29 something. So it's a big difference from this race to the open pro race. But other than that, all the other categories, we were pretty much faster on the day. So as you can see, it's pretty high speed on turn 1. We're at 26 miles per hour, just kind of casually. Turn 2 now, we're over 33 miles per hour. It's just a nice, fast left-hand sweeper. Because the road is so wide, it does kind of get congested through that turn sometime. Even though we're going at a high speed, it's not really strung out. So we'll have 4 and 5 wide most of the day going through that turn. Like always, I'm kind of riding solo. Luckily, I have film this week. Last week, I didn't have film. For whatever reason, the camera cut off 30 seconds in to the race. And so I thought the camera was on when it was off, and thought it was off when it was on. So I only had 30 seconds of last week's race. And then I had an hour of just camera footage with the camera sitting in my bag. So if you want to check out last week's race, check out Eric Henson's video. He has the whole entire 50 plus up. So yeah, shout out to Eric. He has a good channel as well. He posts all these Masters races also. He usually does 2 races, so he'll do the 40 plus and the 50. I've only been doing the 50 just because I've been busy running the team. Maybe later in the year I'll start doing both. So yeah, this circuit has like a few potholes and some little blemishes in the road. Nothing too serious. The potholes aren't that deep. They're probably 1.5 inches deep or something, but it's kind of, it is deep enough to kind of maybe cause a puncture and with some sharp edges, but not really going to cause a crash or anything. A couple dips here and there, and then the gas meters and stuff, or water meters, whatever they are, they're kind of depressed a couple inches also. So there's a little bumps and bruises here, but overall it's a good circus, great course. Yeah, so as you can see up front, if you can see up front, since I'm not near the front, there's a breakaway trying to establish like right from the beginning here. Yeah, you see right up there at making the right-hand turn already. There's about 4 guys up there trying to get away. Yeah, I think overall this direction counterclockwise is a little bit harder than the other direction. This false flat with leading up to this little kicker here, over time it just kind of wears on you. It's good if you're hitting it fast and just using your momentum to roll up, but when the speed slows down, it kind of bites the legs a little bit. But it really is still something that you're just drafting up. I think we're always mid 20s going up that hill. Sometimes if it's a hot lap, we might be even closer to 30. I know I saw like 27 going up the hill. Yeah, definitely fun coming through these little turns here. Just like fast sweepers. There's a little bit of a headwind here, and it wasn't a windy day at all. The wind was like calm, but there's a little bit of a wind on this little backside. It's probably just because it funnels through these buildings a little bit. And as you can see, I'm not tucked in right now. But if you're with the high speed and then just out in the wind, I think it just kind of funnels through these little buildings and creates a little bit of what feels like a wind. But for the most part, there was like no wind on the day. It was a pretty still day. Started off really cold in the morning, mid to low 40s, high 40s when we got there. But we didn't race until almost 11, so it's a pretty good day for us. 66 degrees right now, and then it started getting a little bit warm after that. Only in the 70s, but still felt pretty warm. With, like I said, with no breeze and partial sun out. Yeah, I can't tell if that break completely got established now or if we are all back together. But yeah, they haven't been playing this year. They've been just saying, "Hey, we're not even going to mess with the peloton. We're just going to get off the front and go." It's been kind of like the same group of guys, really strong, which is smart. They don't want to race against everyone, make it give everyone a chance at the end. So they just been going early, pretty much right off the gun. Just been trying to go from lap one, just get off the front and roll turns at the front and battle it out between that small group of 4 or 5. Yeah, so as you can see, even up this false flat, we still have the hammer down pretty good. I'm still just eating a lot of wind here. Yeah, we get pretty congested coming up these S's also. Like I said, it's not like we're going slow up the hill. We're going decent speed up the hill, but it actually would be better if it was strung out just a little bit more because we get kind of bunched up going up the hill. Sometimes you have to do a little brake check or something, or someone gets cut off or whatever. Yeah, so if you can see those orange paint spots on the ground, those are pretty much all the potholes and missing asphalt. And then right here, coming up about right here on this last one right there, if you look to the left, there's a sewer main, and it's not marked off or anything, but it rises about 6 inches. So running over that, can rattle the handlebars pretty good. So I don't know if it's here. Yeah, it's here. I run wide a little bit right there. Didn't really want to be on the outside, but I just gave it a shot here and there, running a little bit outside, go back to the inside. It's not like I'm really trying to go anywhere. I'm just basically sitting in the entire race. But definitely a little bit better, you know, kind of keeping it tight there. You don't want to run too wide, especially at high speed. That outside turn comes, I mean, that outside curb comes at you pretty fast. Ooh, I don't know if that's Pat. Got a little pinched off on the inside there. I got pinched in there twice. My fault completely, but late in the race, just trying to squeeze in on that inside, and you know, got your wheel a little bit behind, and I get pinched off twice in there. Stops your momentum. This race was pretty hard, though, to be honest with you. It had a, well, I guess I would say it had a hard start. They all have kind of hard starts, you know, like the first 10, 15 minutes are pretty hard, especially when the brake's trying to get established. And, you know, some of us are trying not to let it get established. But and like I said, as fast as it is, like as flowing as it is, that false flat with the little kicker still, you know, it still stings a little bit. I gotta watch. You gotta kind of count the vote guys. I forgot they got the new kit and the old kit, so it's almost like two small teams out there. Yeah, they do a good job though of racing together, and you know, throwing some tactics in there. Yeah, like I said, we get bunched up here, so it gets a little chaotic sometimes. It's pretty smooth right now, but it gets a little chaotic coming up the hill just because it starts to get kind of one line. Yeah, I don't know if this is if it's gonna play out this way all season or not with these breakaways. Um, I don't know if we have anything for them right now. Like those guys are strong up front. You know, we had the same winner in this race won the 40 plus race as well. I think the 40 plus race that he won was pretty impressive. Took off. I mean, you know, he was at the front, obviously, or in the front. You know, putting in work the entire race. But if I'm not mistaken, he took a flyer on the last lap. Also, didn't get really ran down, and then of course, you know, they're catching him at the line. And he kind of out sprinted everybody also after taking the flyer. So yeah, definitely super strong, and you know, it was his day. Nobody had anything for him on the day. Me, I'm just sitting back, you know, sitting in, really enjoying my popcorn, just watching everything happen around me. Just kind of enjoying the competition, and you know, keeping up with the fitness. Yeah, like I said, right there, it gets tight in that turn right there. When you try to go up the inside, it gets really tight. Like I said, I try it a couple times late. You know, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know, like I said, we get congested up here. It starts turning into like one line for the most part, and we're about four wide. So it definitely gets tight on the inside on that turn. I don't even know what to call that turn. I guess call it turn three, kind of, even though it's a little bit of an S there. We're so used to four corner crits, we just make every crit four corners. Even if it has six corners, we just ignore the other ones and call it a four corner crit. Yeah, you see Dustin move to the left a little bit to avoid some of the junk in the road. Yeah, every once in a while we get a surge, you get strung out. And as fast as it is coming downhill here, there's usually a pretty good acceleration out of this corner too. So you see I was down to 28 miles per hour there. But yeah, it's usually a pretty good acceleration there for a second just to get back in the draft and everything comes back together. And as you can see, as we hit the false flat, everything just kind of, starts bunching up again. It's pretty strung out this time. We had a decent number of preems also, I think, in the race. Maybe about four or five preems. I think most of it was merchandise. I don't think we had any cash preems this, on this day. Most of it was merchandise, helmets, socks, beer, stuff like that. Yeah, Founders in Avery Brewing is one of the sponsors for CBR this year. So not just financially, but they also hand out some preems, some six packs, stuff like that. So my man with the dreads right here, I hear his son is doing some big things on the bike as well. Can't recall his name right now, but yeah, I hear his son is pretty good on a bike, and shout out to him. Hopefully he has a successful year and successful career. I probably should do my homework and know his name if I'm going to mention him, but either way, just sharing some support, a little bit of love. Maybe it'll inspire someone else to go look it up. So also got that kind of orangish peach colored jersey right there. That's the leader's jersey. That's like the yellow jersey for the series, for the CBR series. We have basically two jerseys up for grabs. We got that yellow jersey there, which is the points leader for like the entire series. And then we have the most aggressive rider, or the sprint jersey, which is typically a green jersey. And I think it's green here too, like more of an aqua color, but I'm not sure who's in it. Sometimes, often the same person's in both, especially if you've been in the breakaway, you end up getting like the most laps also. So a lot of people have both jerseys, and later in the season it kind of spreads out. Yeah, so overall, I think on the day, most races had a breakaway on the day. Not all of them stuck, but yeah, this course definitely sets up for a good breakaway. Anytime you're in Southern California and the road goes up a little bit, even if it's just this high speed kind of kicker here, it always lends itself to a little bit of separation, a little bit of a breakaway. Kind of the bottleneck here also kind of helps with creating the breaks a little bit. But pretty much every race on the day, if the brake didn't stick, it at least had a breakaway or multiple breakaways throughout the race that were really attempting to get away. Sometimes they got ran down, but often a breakaway won each race. We actually may have been about 50-50 on the day of breakaways and bunch sprints. Yeah, so when we reverse this course, this section right here is the only like uphill. It's the only little kicker basically. And then the front straight ends up being just like a 1 or 2% false flat. Definitely a lot easier going the other way to me. This way is pretty taxing. Like I said, even though we have high speed and we're using a lot of momentum, it still bites the legs just a little bit going up the kicker here. We definitely got the hammer down now. You know, like I said, going uphill at 31. So definitely guys up front are putting in a pretty good effort trying to run back the break. I think we had it down to like 4 or 5 seconds at one point. You can see how strung out it is. We're almost, corner to corner here. I think I was fairly efficient on the day. You know, sometimes I obviously can be more efficient. When you watch the video, I eat a lot of wind here and there, or at least it seems like it. But overall, I was pretty efficient. I only averaged like 216 or something watts for the race, and I think 252 or 253 normalized. You know, we averaged 26 point. I averaged 26.6. The guys up front probably averaged just about 27. I think my fastest lap time on the day was 138 at 29 miles per hour, 138 at about 325 watts for the lap. Yeah, it's pretty strung out right now. Like you said, we're going through that turn at 31, 32. I think at initial turn in, I think I was at 33 miles per hour. So yeah, we definitely have the hammer down, speeds up a little bit. I'm just trying to follow Pat a little bit here. I don't really want to be at the front, but I definitely have followed him to make up a couple spots, and then I just settle in here. Yeah, like I said, pretty much bottlenecks through here. If it's not really fast, just gets really congested through here. We're going to be like 4 wide, 5 wide. Kind of slows everything down. So yeah, after this, we're heading up to Valley of the Sun this week. Probably gonna head up there on Thursday. I'm not gonna race it though, just supporting the team. Got the women racing. Got 2 squads out there. I'm gonna have the women's 4-5 and then a women's P123 team. Valley of the Sun's a great venue. It's always stacked as well with talent. I think there's over 600 or 700 riders registered. 3-day stage race, time trial, road race, and crit. Yeah, so there's a couple laps in a row that we're kind of got the hammer down here, going pretty fast. Can't tell who's on front up there spearheading this little chase. I think it was a pretty clean day too. I didn't see any crashes like the entire day, but I heard there was 2 in some of the other fields. And that's 2 weeks in a row where we've, crash numbers have been pretty down pretty good. I think at the major motion crit, I only saw one crash, and that was in the men's or the open 4-5. And then from what I understand, there was a crash in the 2-3 race and the P123 race today, and that was about it. I don't think there was any crashes the rest of the day. I think both of them happened right there coming out of turn one, where people ended up running wide, hitting a barrier. Which can happen, like I said, high speed like this, you end up getting your line wrong, run a little wide, and there's not a lot of room out there when you run wide at high speed. All right, we really got it stretched out now. Yeah. Overall, I felt pretty good, though, even though, like I said, the pace is kind of high. Some of the efforts are high. A lot of on and off with this type of course. So you're hitting some pretty good watts coming out of every corner. But overall, the legs felt good. Heart, lungs felt good. But like I said, I'm just really here to enjoy the show, eating some popcorn and watch everybody else do their thing and just keep up with my fitness. It's good to see all the tents too that we, end up having some pretty good participation on the Super Bowl Sunday. A lot of people left early because, it's to be expected. Super Bowl is one of the biggest events in the world, obviously. So yeah, it's just good to have people that still showed up and race. Yeah, those two high-speed turns get smoother as the race goes on. Everybody kind of acclimates to, what the proper line is and all that, and, just kind of fall in after that. You can't really force anything there, and nor should you. There's no reason. I mean, it's only turn two. We got half a lap still to go from there. I think that's Pat must have been one of the pacemakers these last couple laps because he's coming backwards to try to find a little recovery. Yeah, I know a lot of people throughout some of the other classes, got caught out with this incline. But, honestly, there's a lot of spots to recover also. Just, pretty much from you got to get over this little hump right here still. It looks like it's downhill, but it's still a little hump right there to get your momentum. But from about this point through turn two, it's, you got a kind of a long time to recover. A good 40 seconds or so, 45 seconds each lap to recover. It might not quite, be that long really, but, it's enough. As you can see, my heart rate's down to 150 something, 160. That's just like tempo heart rate. So yeah, all this you definitely can recover through all these next couple turns, and then coming out of here is where the acceleration starts again. That's Dustin there in front of me. Dustin was looking strong too, had a good race. Yeah, just take a little second to try to move up here. I think I'll run through the gutter here a little bit. Just wanted to make up a couple spots on the uphill. I know it's going to bunch up a little bit, so you can always make up a couple spots there. Wanted to go up a little bit further, but just was a little, had my bars a little bit out of position there, so I just backed off. Yeah, and this is why breaks get away. You know, it's kind of hard to coordinate long term back here. You get a really strong group of guys up front that's going to really push the pace. Like the chase has to really be coordinated, and it's kind of hard to coordinate. Everybody's on different teams, different motivations. That's kind of why I just like, why would I go to the front? I'm not really trying to run it down. So I just sit back a little bit and watch. I know some people have an issue with that. Some people think if you're not out there to win, why are you out there? No, that's their thing. Yeah, my man right here from Evoke, you know, he's always a good wheel to follow, in my opinion. A bigger guy, gets a big draft, has a lot of power, and honestly, he does a lot of work. You know, he's going to put in a good dig. He's going to close gaps, run things down, set tempo, or set the pace. So, yeah, he's definitely a good wheel to follow, and like I said, provides a really good draft, and he's really strong. And I think that's one of the situations there where I pinched myself. Um, just was a little indecisive. I needed to either move up and get position on the gentleman in the black there. I could have stayed on the Evoke Rider's wheel. But either way, you got to make a decision. I either needed to move up or back off, one of the two. I kind of half wheeled into there and knew my wheel was getting pinched, so ended up having to slow down, and it just bogs you down. And you got to use a little power to accelerate out of that corner. So yeah, I think we're down to about 10 laps to go now. And you can see it's been pretty hot the entire time. Like, you know, looks like more of the same, but we've been on the gas pretty much the entire race. A little bit, you know, one lap maybe a little slower than another, but for the most part it's been pretty fast, just high speed, just strung out. Sometimes faster than like, you know, like the regular CBRs. Which you think of that as like a flat flowing, you know, courses. All the CBR courses are kind of flat and flowing, but had a little movement from the guys there. One of the guys went lateral and almost chopped this rider here in front of me. But like I said, it's about 10 laps to go, maybe 9. So everybody can feel it when it gets kind of closer to crunch time. And like I said, we've been stretched out for a while. I think the guys up front, they kind of know the race has gotten away from them with the breakaway out there. And it's like you only got so many more laps to try to bring them down. So, I mean, to bring it back. So I think people start, you know, giving it another surge. Yeah, definitely a really fun course, though. You know, I'd like to see it continue here, but I think from what I understand, the price to host the race is starting to get a little high. I mean, honestly, the entry fees were high this weekend, too, especially too high for shorter races, in my opinion. You know, I had a lot of women in the race, and, you know, as you run a team, that gets expensive trying to, you know, pay that. And I understand, like, the promoter has cost, you know, the permits and renting police and traffic control and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you know, uh, at some point you just can't afford to race. There's a lot of races on the year. I think for the women, the women's P123, I think was $70. I had 4 people in that race, so that's almost $300 for me right there. At 2 girls in the other race, 3 guys in another race. I think also too, not to beat a dead horse or anything, but like I know some of the 4 or 5 guys and girls, they they really weren't happy because their race also was cut by 5 minutes. So not 5 minutes from this race, but 5 minutes from what they normally race. So they were just not happy with paying $60 for a 25-minute race. But overall, it was a great day, great race, great venue. Like I said, we'd love to see it continue, love to see it here. But we understand at some point, everybody needs to make a decision on. The promoter has to make a decision on how much he can pay to host the venue, and the riders have to make a decision on how much they can pay to race in it. They got the digital board today, so I don't think I can see the lap timer. When they have the analog, the big white numbers, I can see it. Black numbers on the white background, I can see it. But on this digital board, yeah, it's almost impossible. I think that's Jerry right there in the Evoke kit. He's with Evoke this year. I forgot who he was with before. I think he was with Core before. But yeah, with Evoke this year, Jerry's super strong also. I was rooting for SDBC right here. I thought he was going to open that gap, but he was falling back just a little bit. But he didn't want to let it go, and I thought I was going to have to go around him, but yeah, glad he closed it. And now he's making that move up the left side, so definitely a good spot right there to make up a couple spots. He made up about 10 spots right there. Like I said, when that uphill starts to bottleneck a little bit, if you pick the right line, you definitely can make up some spots there. Yeah, I think overall the field's been probably a little bit faster to start the season this year than it was last year. The Masters categories are always interesting because, every year one of the not faster, it's not just about age, but one of the fast guys that was fast, been fast for a long time, they get a birthday, and next thing you know, they're in your field, I think last year it was Sharon. Sharon can win races at pretty much any level, and he became a 50 last year, so that adds another dynamic to it. And this year, I think it was today's winners or winner for both races. Spoiler alert, because it was I think it's Matthew Easter. But yeah, he just turned eligible for the 50 plus category. And for the most part, yeah, he pretty much controlled this day and won both races. And that's not anything about, like I said, it's not really due to them being younger. It's due to them being fast and now able to race the category. Because there's guys that are in their 60s that still win races in this category. There's guys in their 60s and 70s. Well, maybe not 70s, but 60s for sure, still racing P123. So, yeah, it's just a fast category. Got a lot of guys that's been racing bikes for a long time and have been fast for a long time. You know, a bunch of ex-national champs in here and pros in various sports, just people that have been athletes like all their lives, basically. Had a little gap opening here, so try to close it. Like I said, I'm still eating a little wind. I'm not tucked in tight, but it's okay when on this downhill and, the speed's so high, the draft gets extended. You saw somebody hit one of those, the guy in orange here, either avoid or hit one of those little blemishes in the road. Got his handlebars wobbled for a second. So, yeah, I think we're going into about 3 laps to go. After this lap, I think we'll have 3 to go. Yeah, we still have the speed up. Like I said, you can see we're hitting 27, still up to 3% there. Here it always slows down just a little bit because, like I said, it gets really pretty much one line in here. I don't know if that was Bart shooting up the inside there. Yeah, I think it was because, like I said, we only got 3 laps to go. I think his team's going to organize the lead out going into the last 2 laps. So he's probably trying to, he knows he's running out of time a little bit, has to get up there. But like I said, this course is pretty tough. The speed was fairly high, and then it, stings a little bit coming up those false flats and kickers. Here goes Pat and one of the other Go Fast guys. I don't know if that was Max. Pat and Max going up to the front. Yeah, as fast as we're going and kind of like the one line we've been on, there's still a lot of room. Like the roads are wide. There's a lot of room to, yeah, there's still a lot of room to maneuver here. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I think my mic cut off, so I gotta splice this part in right here at the end. So yeah, it looks like we're going into 1 more to go. I think 1 lap to go after this. You can tell by body language and stuff, the urgency kind of kicks up just a little bit. Everybody's getting a little defensive, hugging the left side here. Don't want anybody cutting underneath them. Like I said, there's Bart. I think Evoke's going to kind of get set up for the lead out up there. So they're trying to gather some guys on the front up there. Not sure if this is the last lap, going into the last lap, or if we have 1 more to go. Definitely can't see the marker over there, or the lap counter. This could be the last lap, but I'm guessing we got 1 more to go probably. Just judging by the time left in the video. We're doing, 1 minute. My fastest was 138 a lap, so probably hitting in the low 140s most of the time. Almost had a collision up there, I believe. I think guys almost got their wheels crossed, had a little cross wheel, almost had a touch of wheels up in the center up there. Yeah, this might be it. This might be the last lap here. Now, I think we may have one more. Yeah, definitely one more to go. So this is going into the last lap. You can see everybody trying to accelerate here, trying to get a little bit of urgency. See the Evoque rider on the right moving up as well. I'm pretty sure they end up getting a lead out up there. I just kind of lean over to see how far back I am. I'm pretty far back though. I know where I'm at, and I know how passive I've been racing. But sometimes, people let you back in with minimal effort. So sometimes you just look and see, like, where am I at? See if, if I'm going to have an opportunity to make something happen with minimal effort. But yeah, back here in about 30th place, yeah, it's not likely. Yeah, definitely the speed's up. Everybody's body language is a little more urgent. Like I said, coming through here is a good chance to make up some spots, but with the speed this high, you definitely got to be like right on a wheel and just kind of time it right. You see, I think that's Max moving up the left side there, but with the speed high like this, you're not going to make up too many spots, and then it bottlenecks here again. Definitely, though, this is a little taxing, like, coming through here. You see everybody's body language, everybody out of the saddle, and then getting over this little hump right here, leading into the front straight, is a little kicker there as well. So I'm being really lazy here. I don't want to sprint or anything, don't want to accelerate. So I'm just kind of looking around, see if I'm past everybody or not, and not paying attention. Look over my right shoulder, and Hans passes me on the left on the left side right here. So, but we're in like 25th place, so no big deal. But anyway, I think that's the last one. That's the last Roger Millikan at Brea. Hopefully they find another good course. Love this course. So it was fun while it lasted. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you next week.